everyone, my name is Ola and today I'm here to present about antibiotic resistance. The TED Talk I have watched is What Do We Do When Antibiotics Don't Work Anymore? The presenter of this TED Talk is Maren McKenna. Maren McKenna is a journalist and author who specializes in public health, global health, and food industry. Maren McKenna has visited locations like the village destroyed by Hurricane Katrina, an isolation camp from multi-drug resistant TB or tuberculosis in Vietnam, and a polio eradication team in India. McKenna has 2 books out right now about these pressing issues, and she also has a third book set out to be released in 2016 about antibiotic resistance. So, antibiotic resistance is an issue that has been present since penicillin was invented. How have we let this modern world come to this, and what will it do to us? But finally, how can we stop it? I believe McKenna, the presenter of my chosen TED Talk, presented her speech very well. I really liked how it started out with a personal story as to draw the reader in. I believe that that really helped connect the audience and also engage them. I also really enjoy how it is very dark and bleak in the beginning, as if there's no way out of this in the future. I think it brings a really pressing issue, like a pressing issue feeling to the audience. I find that that kind of thing really engages me because it is a problem that needs a solution. I also enjoy how McKenna brought a very happy outcome, like we can actually help stop the post-antibiotic world, and we can actually help. McKenna made a very good presentation in this instance. She had a strong beginning to draw audience in by talking about personal life, and her introduction was also very short and to the point, so the audience did not drift off. Instead of making one long speech with a start and an end, McKenna instead had a conclusion to every little part of her speech. I feel like that kept the audience listening and grasping the information. Overall, McKenna had a very good oral presentation. She spoke at medium speed, fast enough to stay in her time slot, but slow enough to bring the information across and not lose her readers. The speech was also written well, as it had virtually no long, formal words. It was regular speech. Her speech was simple and right to the point. McKenna also was always facing the front and talking to the audience and making eye contact. I feel that it kept the audience on the hook to see that the presenter was passionate about her subject. And also, in terms of passion, it was obvious by the way McKenna spoke and her expression that she was passionate and interested in the subject she was presenting. I feel that she had practiced the speech because, unlike many other presentations that are just about information and not interest or passion, notes are always used. In McKenna's presentation, she had not a single note, and I feel like that it really made the audience feel like she knew what she was doing and she was interested in the subject. I personally believe that this is a fascinating topic and an area for discussion. I feel that it is just an escalating problem in our world, and I think more people need to be aware so we can at least try to find a solution. I have always been interested in medical related science, and this grabbed my attention because it is part of that, but it also relates to evolution, which is also part of science, which I find interesting. I would like to find a way to stop this. People in the world today don't know what it would be like without antibiotics. We don't even think about it in the back of our minds because we've never actually had the experience of living without antibiotics. I believe we should all stop being so ignorant and realize the problem right in front of our eyes and do something about it. As for McKenna, I like her as a presenter. I feel like she gave a very strong and convincing presentation. I believe it convinced the audience that there really is a problem that needs to be stopped and fixed. As mentioned before in this paper, or speech, McKenna has a great presentation technique. She is loud, perfect speed, and right to the point. This way, her readers are not lost. However, I feel like there's actually one area she could improve on, which is more pictures. Only a few pictures are used in her presentation, and I feel like if someone is not really a verbal person but more of a visual person and not very interested in the speech, the pictures can help draw them in and pay more attention. Overall, I believe McKenna gave a very good presentation on an extremely fascinating topic. With fraction of room to improve, I give her a 10 out of 10 speech. So my subject is antibiotics and antibiotic resistance. I believe there is a ton of conflict and controversy around the subject. Many people with different jobs, different titles, believe in completely different ideas about this. Many people with the main controversy existing about this is that many doctors do not believe there's a problem with antibiotic resistance and continue overprescribing antibiotics to everyone that comes in their clinic, even if they don't really need them. Things like medicine companies and drug companies are for the overuse of antibiotics because it brings a great profit to them, but does nothing to us in the long run. Families that are against treating themselves with modern medicine may still ingest it. It's in our animals, our food, and our everyday life. Farm animals are pumped full of antibiotics to prevent disease that has never happened in that area, and we have to ingest that. Many studies and observations have been done about antibiotic resistance. The CDC and the IDSA, Controlled Disease Center, and Infectious Disease Society of America, have done numerous studies about this problem and have come to a conclusion that four main areas are responsible for this problem. So the first one is the pharmaceutical companies and organization. The second is the agricultural and farming industries. Third is healthcare professionals. And finally, the last one is just normal civilians and patients. First of all, pharmaceutical companies are a problem because so many new antibiotics are needed because the ones that we have don't work anymore. Many pharmaceutical companies have an antibiotic development lab, however, not enough money or time. It takes anywhere from 10 to 15 years to develop a new strain or even kind of antibiotic, when an antibiotic can become when bacteria can become antibiotic resistant in a matter of weeks. Secondly, farm animals raised for consumption are constantly pumped and raised by prophylactic antibiotics. When we consume them, the resistant bacteria in the meat travels to us and repopulates inside of us, giving humans the antibiotic resistant bacteria. This, over time, leads to a constant battle for bacteria to stay alive and become resistant, adding to the world's reservoir. Now, probably the biggest person is the conflict in the healthcare with the healthcare professionals. We call them professionals because we believe that they will save us from any scary disease out there, right? And new medicine will always be available as soon as we get sick. Yeah? Okay. But why is the professional doctor prescribing us penicillin for a flu virus, right? Antibiotics do nothing to stop a virus, but what they do is give the bacteria in our body a chance to become immune to it. Millions of prescriptions are given out each year for antibiotics that will be used to treat a virus. Falsely diagnosed patients, plus the patient's desire to be treated, plus the expectation that the doctor has to give out medication, is the root of this problem. Lastly, probably the least significant area of this conflict, but still important, is the patient aspect of this. If a patient does not finish their antibiotics after a treatment round, or they notice they're not working, or they do work and they don't need anymore, they may flush them down the toilet or give them to a friend when their friend is not feeling well. In both of these cases, they are getting in our system and causing long-lasting damage. I think my presenter does very well to focus on these problems. She talks a lot about them and also talks about them in detail. I think it really interests the audience and makes her speech a lot more interesting. I believe the focus of this conflict or problem really adds to the overall message and meaning of the presentation. I think it really hits the audience and the facts about this brutal truth. Overall, I think that there's many problems and conflicts and controversy surrounding this subject, but I feel like McKenna did a very good job of presenting them and giving her side of view, which is the right one, and making the audience listen, and most importantly, convincing them that this is something that needs to stop, because we may descend into a world where a minor infection kills in just a couple days in decades.